What up, Twitch? It's your boy Peter to ASU, and I'm here on a Monday night, and I'm excited. We haven't done any Dungeons and Dragons in a long time on this channel, and it's something we used to do every Monday night. So I'm excited that we're doing this, not just because it's with an awesome group of people, but it's also because what this channel does. So we're proud to bring this to you tonight. I'm with the PU2 crew. We have a special guest among us as well that I will let him introduce himself here in a minute. But I hope you're ready for a good show, folks, because we got some quality entertainment set up for you. We are going to be diving into a Dungeons & Dragons story of my own making, of which we will use the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule set. That's not new, but what's new is we're diving into the hit Netflix TV show, Arcane. So if any of you TV execs are out there and you find this, feel free to use this story because I try to make it its own original story. So if you're listening in, or if that just made you start listening, you don't want to leave. We're going to be setting our story inside of this universe using a template from DM Dave. If you haven't checked out DM Dave, I encourage you to do so. He's got a lot of cool free resources for anybody interested in playing Dungeons & Dragons. So we're using a module from him and flavoring it to fit inside of this world. So that's what we're doing tonight. I want to do a couple of announcements for the channel, and then we'll do into some quick howdies and introductions of people that are on the channel here with me. So I appreciate you finding us, PU to ASU, either now or after the fact. Feel free to drop us a follow, a like, comment on any of our social medias. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're on them all. Hit us up on all of them. And I encourage you to hit us up with that subscribe if you like what you see. Once a month, you can use your Amazon Prime membership to do an Amazon subscription to your favorite Twitch streamer. And why not make that be us? So I encourage you to do that, to support your local streamer, and I hope it's us. So campaigning for that. So that's a little bit of the announcements for reminders for all of you listening, but we are doing this Monday night Dungeons & Dragons game tonight. We will probably go into it. We'll go into another week. We may go into 3 weeks, but players just know that we will be going again next week, 8 o'clock Central, to play the rest of what we don't finish tonight. So you can have some more Dungeons & Dragons. You can get another Dungeons & Dragons high next week by popping into the stream, same time, same place, to finish out this story. In the meantime, when we don't have a Dungeons & Dragons game going on, either we're waiting on the wonderful Unbeaten Path to get restarted back up, PS Zombies campaign, or we're getting ready to do another one-shot short session campaign. Between that, we are going to still have stuff on Monday nights. We sort of took a long break over the summer, so we're going to get right back into it now that we're sort of in the fall, and give you something on Monday night. And I know, for example, Climate Changer and I have already talked about some of the gameplay we want to provide in lieu of a Dungeons & Dragons game, so we hope to give that to you in something regular every week. And thank you, Alex, for the subscription! Appreciate ya. Alex just did a tier 1 sub to Climate Changer, so appreciate ya. Appreciate the support, Alex. Always great with sending us in those subs. So I've done enough talking. I want to say hey to the people at the table. First, I'll start with PS Zombie. How are you, friend?
Well, howdy. I'm doing super good.
He's
just chilling tonight.
That's good, man. He's excited to. He started back in school, so he's excited to get into a campaign where he doesn't have to DM. He can just ride the waves.
Nice, relaxing. I just have to avoid death as a character.
That's right.
So relaxing.
Well, you may not be avoiding it tonight. We'll see.
Yay.
All right. And then I also got Climate Change on here. How you doing, bud?
Excellent.
Excellent.
As always. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I got to see him during the week, which was a change of pace, which was kind of fun. I crashed his place during the week, which it just doesn't happen. So it was very fun. I got to go up that way for work.
You hang out with your friends during the week? What?
I know.
Yeah, what is that like?
What is that like? And then, of course, got Alex on here. Alex, buddy, how are ya?
Hey everybody, I'm good.
He's good. And then I'd like to introduce to the stream Mr. Leadbet.
Howdy.
He is. I've invited him onto the stream. He is being such a good sport about all of our shenanigans and antics thus far.
What was he gonna say?
Yeah. Flip up there, a little flip.
So many shenanigans.
Shenanigans. So we're excited to have him on here. He is. You may know him from his YouTube channel, Game Observatory, which I will let him plug. He's posting up a new video shortly. Quality entertainment videos right there. So I'm excited to have him on here and be a part of our group, as well as I wish him the best on his endeavors for videos. And if you haven't seen them, I encourage you to check out Game Observatory on his Twitter page and on YouTube. Jeremy, did I leave anything out, buddy?
That's it. It's Game Observatory on YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter. Thank you. Yeah.
So he does a really good job of that. He's, like I said, he's famous. He's internet famous. So.
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little.
So we're excited to have all this crew together and to dive into this story. So I kind of gave a little bit of an introduction of what we were going to be playing tonight, but I kind of want the players to run in through what you're going to be playing. Don't give a lot of details. Just give the audience your name and your class and race, just to kind of give them a little bit of an understanding of that. Thank you, Alex, with a sub to Itspa. Appreciate you, Alex, for your support and dropping those subs. You're like Subway over there, dropping those subs.
Hey, we make it just how you want it, or whatever their expression is.
That's right.
Make it however you want.
Good. It's something to that effect.
Take it however
You want a sandwich?
Sure.
Sure. Oh man.
Anyway, Alex, what are you playing, bud?
So I am playing a Minotaur. I'm really excited about this. Named 6, like the Roman numeral. You're welcome.
Guys,
Now you all know 6 in Roman numerals.
It's super meta. So we are doing Arcane, and one of the main protagonists is V, lowercase I, and he is Roman numeral 6. It's pretty.
But that's not for tonight. That's for the scholars use for now.
That's right. But we can.
That is not going to be confusing at all.
No, it's not.
Well, they're pronounced completely differently. Unless your character happens to be writing their names, it probably won't be confusing.
I will not answer at all.
If they end up
to
in like the same high
campaign.
school class and they're doing roll call, then yeah, be confused. Bye the big one.
Yeah, we need a lot of roll calls just so that can play out.
I haven't built a
Fingers crossed.
classroom roll call situation into the campaign yet. I will try to find a way to plug that in.
Okay, well then I'm out of here.
This is not what I wanted. That's awesome, and another reason, Netflix executives, that you can take these ideas. They're all quality. Okay, let's see. We've got Climate Changer. What you playing, bud?
I am playing a barbarian wizard. He's green. I guess I'll reveal his race is troll. That of the troll. An Arctic troll. So looks like we're starting off more of a monster type party than a normal.
Y'all sound like a bunch of Zon people to me.
His name is Trundle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Piasami, what are you playing as?
I'm playing as Nash, who is a veteran, well, a human who's been in the game a while. He's a little older fella in his 50s. And I have a pet dragon named Indy.
Nice. Very cool. And last
I'm a ranger, sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I was
forgot
going to
to
say you forgot your class there. That is Piasami, and last but not least, Mr. Ledbet. What are you playing as, sir?
So I'm playing as a warlock by the name of Gregor. Gregor is a person whose principles are situational.
Very cool.
Yes.
Principles are situational. Very cool. So that is the cast for this game. I'm just making sure our board is up so that Twitch can see what we're doing here. We are going to start our campaign in Piltover, which is the setting of the Netflix show, but you don't necessarily have to have seen the show. I encourage you to. It's very, very good. It's top ranked on Netflix, I think, for a reason. But this is a story that can kind of tangentially operate in that universe. So I may make some references of things you're kind of like, if you haven't seen the show, you may not know, but you don't necessarily need to have watched the show to follow along with what's going to happen. Plus, the characters have their own agency here. They can do whatever they want, so they could really just make the story get wild and crazy. We don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay, we're going to start with Piltover. I'm going to set the scene for everybody. I want you to sort of open up your theaters of the minds and your imagination with this. I'm going to drop some music to cue us in, and I hope it's not too loud. I tend to blow people's ears off with my music. How does anybody listening in on Roll20, how does that sound?
Sounds fine.
Sounds good.
I heard it for a second, and then it disappeared.
Okay. It's still playing now. Is everybody?
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice.
Can't hear it.
Oh, you know what? It's because I am not on the computer. I'm using it on.
Well, I'll just come along.
It's very dreamy.
I can picture it, and I'm feeling very somber.
Good.
Yeah, think not just theater of the mind, but orchestra of the mind,
Good.
Wow.
and audience of the mind, cast of the mind.
Good. The music's working.
So many minds.
Yeah, I'm more of a Baskin Robbins of the mind kind of, but I can get there. I'll get there.
Nothing is real.
The StubHub of the mind.
I've actually been to a Baskin Robbins since I was like 9, but
I haven't gotten to a Baskin. Last time I saw a Baskin
Rainbow
Robbins
sherbet.
was in Ant-Man. Am I right?
right, that's right.
Very good. So we zoom in into Piltover, and we zoom into one of our main protagonists, Jace. If you don't know who Jace is, he's a very handsome man. He's got a very kind of 5 o'clock shadow going on. He is in his bed for the evening. He is sort of passed out on his very nice bed. He's got a very nice suite of a bedroom, and he's conked out. You see him just kind of he's fallen asleep on this bed, seemingly in a hurry. He's still got some of his clothes on that he wore during the day, and he's clearly just exhausted and passed out. You still see in his hands as he sort of drops it on the floor as he lulls into deeper of a sleep. Lots of sketches of blueprints and plans that have sort of that slowly fall out of his grip as he goes into a deeper and deeper sleep. You see what he sees in a vision. He is taken back to the moment where he and his mother were trapped in the frozen north. I believe it's called the Fjord? Fjord? I need to look at it.
Freljord.
Freljord, thank you. Where he is in the Freljord. You see what he sees in this dream. He's back to being in the Freljord. It's a snowy, harsh environment. There is a blizzard that picks up. He is very, very hungry. You see him struggling through the snowdrifts, trying to find his way with his mother in tow. And then he comes upon a hooded figure. This hooded figure stands very, very tall over him. This hooded figure has some weird bluish tint to their skin, but having such a large hood over this face of this figure, you can't make out the face. You don't know who it is. You can see that they have a long staff in their hand, and out of the staff is this bluish energy that seems to be crackling and charging off of the staff. The figure waves its hand and seems to almost immediately brisk away the blizzard and allow Jace and his mother not to be buffeted with the effects of the storm. To you, this seems familiar. You seem to remember this along with Jace as you're visualizing this. And again, this is not necessarily what your characters see. I'm just trying to paint a picture for all of you as the players and the Twitch environment to kind of give you a cutscene. But this all seems very familiar. And it seems familiar to Jace. There's some recognition in his eyes of the hooded figure, of this environment, of the situation. But after the point at which the storm stops, Jace remembers that he can continue to go home. But this part of the dream, it doesn't play out that way. It doesn't play out how he remembers. This hooded figure seems to almost point in a direction closer to the top of the mountain in this winter landscape, and seems to beckon him and call him to a point near the top of the mountain. He looks off in the distance and sees the outline of a small village, and the figure tells him to go 3 times, each time more ominous than the last. It upsets Jace. The vision and the memories start to fade, and the dream sequence starts to break, and he wakes up in a cold sweat, wondering why he seems to be getting this vision of where to go in the, say it again for me, PS Zombie, Fjord, I need to pronounce it. Freljord, in the Freljord. Jace is unnerved by this. He wakes up, he goes throughout his day-to-day things in the morning, and throughout the rest of his day after he wakes up from a cold sweat. He wakes up fairly early in the morning, he can't sleep. It's a lovely day in Piltover, much like the scene you see in front of you, but he is very much unnerved by what this could mean. He starts to ask questions throughout Piltover, and is able to come in contact with a troll. He actually comes up and approaches this troll because he knows that this troll is from and has been to multiple times the Freljord. He approaches... Noni is right. He approaches Climate Changer's character in the middle of the day. Jace approaches you, and you immediately know who this person is. You've interacted with him several times. He's commissioned you to go on several adventures and sort of backpack trips into the Freljord to search for this village that he's seen in this dream. He comes up to you in the middle of the day and begins having a conversation with you. Climate Changer, what does Jace see when he's walking up to you in the middle of the day in Piltover? What are you doing? What does your character look like?
He is extremely large. That's the first thing anyone would notice was the sort of mass of Trundle. He is approximately 9 feet tall. He has a bluish colored skin, and he is covered in what looks like a almost a soldier's like worn outfit, like a battered set of armor. I suppose I don't know if that really necessarily fits in with our AC class if we have that yet. It wouldn't necessarily be heavy armor. I'm trying to think. I guess leather armor, sort of battered, and he would probably be heating up something in a pot, out in the wilderness, something to eat. I unfortunately mumble disconnected me when you were describing some of this stuff, so I've reconnected.
Okay.
I don't know if you said where we were.
No, he was. We're in Piltover right now. He's approaching you in Piltover and the streets of
Okay.
Piltover.
Okay, so I would not probably be cooking a pot.
You could still be cooking a pot just in the middle of the street. Just like you clearly seem to be like a man that has an income, but you still like to just like fend for yourself like a homeless person cooking in the middle of the street. That's fine too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just buy, some fish from someone and then immediately pull out my cook pot and start cooking it right at the food stand to eat it. With no sense of like social norms, just no idea.
Right.
I can't believe there's a troll in the middle of Piltover. That's, I guess they're okay with that.
Well, and people are giving you weird looks. You're getting some glares. You're getting some weird interactions. And Jace walks up to you. Trundle, we've talked about this. You can eat in one of our restaurants. You don't have to eat on the side of the road. You're not out in the wilderness here. You also have, I pay you. You have income to have more than just this fish meal. We've discussed this several times.
I need these soft foods that you people eat so much. I can live off of the fish, it's fine.
Can we at least get you in the outskirts of the city? We're literally near downtown right now. You're getting a lot of looks. I'm being seen with you right now having this conversation. We may just need to move to a more private spot. He kind of like tries to usher you. Like he feels very much like getting a lot of like bad looks doing this. So he wants to be still in good social graces with everyone. So he tries to usher you into a more private spot.
Okay. I see what's going on here. I am used to people looking at me. If you are a little insecure man, then we can go somewhere.
I have a reputation, and he tries to he's wearing this vest, very fancy vest. He kind of props it up, pops his shoulders a little bit. I have a reputation to upkeep around here, Trindle. I do have a question for you though. How was your trip this time to the Fjord?
It's paradise to me up there, as you know. So it's always good to go back to my roots and tromp through the snow. It's so hot here,
I'm glad you're enjoying your tromping, but I need to remind you of your mission to find this village that I commissioned you to hunt for.
Oh yes, I believe I found it. Did he find it?
He did.
Yes. It slipped my mind. It was such a menial task for me, but I did eventually. Yes, I know where it is.
Well, this menial task took you several outings, but I will. That is wonderful news. You probably need to commission a team. Yes, I can forward you some dossiers of some notorious folks here in Piltover that would be good adventurers for you to commission a team. I have a feeling you're going to find some strange things out there. That was where I first encountered magic, and Well, the world really changed since we brought it here to Piltover.
Yes. Yes, if there's anything I've learned, it's that it's good to have a good crew.
Very good. Do you want to read these? He starts pulling out underneath his vest some paper dossiers or paper folders with labels of different people for potential teammates for you.
Are you suggesting I cannot read just because I am a troll? I am different, you know. So
He takes the papers and starts rifling through them, I guess.
I might need to go see HR about this. I don't want any sort of grievance filed on my account. He just like slowly like it's backing away. You know. So you start flipping through. The first you notice is that you start noticing that you need some muscle. You know how difficult it is to go through the mountains, the Frost Mountains. It's a difficult terrain. It's very hard to travel through. So you knew you needed some muscle that can get it done. And there's nothing more muscular than a giant minotaur. So that immediately catches your eye, and you see the name 6, and you see that it's a minotaur, and you're immediately wanting to go locate this individual. Alex, what is your character doing, and where is he located in Piltover?
So I'm standing next to, or very near Trundle, giving him very weird looks. But it's not because he's cooking in the middle of the street, it's because he's eating fish. And then I would imagine someone might observe me taking a sandwich out of, I'm assuming I'd be wearing some type of satchel or perhaps have Minotaur-esque pockets, but I take a sandwich and there's fish on it, and I sort of take the fish off and I throw it into the street, and then I put some hay on that sandwich. And I start eating the sandwich, and I'm very, very pleased. Just kind of looking around, taking in the scenes. I notice that people are looking at me, but I'm like, what's the matter? You've never seen a man eat hay? And I just sort of shrug off. I'm not really interested in what they think.
You are a vegetarian?
I would be very offended by that. I think I would horse kick over Trundle's stove and then just sort of suck her away.
I like this one. This will be good for the crew. It's always good when it's a little feisty, you know.
I would turn around and say, I'm not a vegetarian, and keep sort of prancing away.
Prancing away.
Very proud.
So you've Trundle takes a liking to the 6, who just happens to also be wandering through eating hay in the middle of the street while he was eating fish. The locals don't know what's going on. It's the middle of the day, and there's a giant minotaur creature and a giant troll just eating out in broad daylight and talking weird exchanges to one another. So,
this is why you come to the city.
That's right. So Trundle successfully recruits 6. Trundle leaps back through some of the folders he has, and he notices that he may need a little bit more than just muscle to survive in the Freljord. He may need somebody that's not just physically strong, but maybe strong in the arcane arts. And there happens to be a warlock that catches his attention, a human warlock nonetheless, that draws his eye. And on the folder it's labeled Gregor. Now, what is Gregor doing in Piltover, the utopian city, Ledbet, and where could this team that is forming find him?
Gregor is actually lounging not too far away against the corner of a building. He's kind of taking in this scene as it happens. Is that too close to home? Do you want me to find
perfect.
somewhere else to hang out?
No, that's perfect.
And he's kind of been following at a distance for a while because he's heard things about this Trundle and him out on adventures, and curious to know more because I'm looking for an adventure.
So Trundle just kind of slaps Jace on the back.
Ah, Jace, what a convenient little alley you've taken us into. There's so many adventurers here. This is perfect.
Well, it is called Adventurer's Alley, so
Oh, yes, I see the sign right there. That's amazing.
So, Gregor, are you kind of approaching, like you've been tracking, you see these guys interject, you wander up, Trundle swings around. Trundle, what do you say to Gregor upon meeting him?
Hello. Don't do any fancy magic stuff to me. I can do it, too.
Trolls can do magic.
Yes,
That's
well,
news
this
to me.
one can.
I'll take your word
And
for
he
it.
kind of like goes up like he's proud of himself, you know.
I'm impressed, and I also happen to notice that got my that I've been handing out freely because I'm trying to make some money.
How do you describe your character? Like, what is his dress? What is his general kind of demeanor? A little bit.
Gregor's very sensibly dressed. He's wearing something that's protective. It's like kind of an all black kind of robe like thing. You know, it's heavy, but it's not. I mean, it's not armor, but or you can't really tell what's underneath it, I should say. He's got kind of long black hair, a stern face, facial hair, but well put together. But somebody you wouldn't want to mess with.
Like it. I like this gruff team we're assembling here. Now, PS Zombie, would your familiar be pretty public knowledge?
I'd say for now, I've got kind of an oversized backpack that I'm keeping it in. Just because, like, as a jungler, kind of killing these things is normally my responsibility, so I don't really want to advertise that I brought one to the big city.
Gotcha. So, when Trundle is flipping through his notes and his trying to find another addition to the team, he doesn't realize that while he's an excellent tracker of the frosted environment, he may need a backup in case something were to happen. Somebody that is good with terrain and be willing to fare well while out in the wilderness. And so he is able to identify a human ranger that would be an excellent addition to this team. What is your character doing right now, PS Zombie? What is Nash doing, and where could he be located in Piltover?
So, I mean, I'd say he should be in the alley. That's kind of like the tradition, right?
So convenient. Thank you for making this easy for me. That way I don't have to come up with more rooms.
He's hanging out in Adventurer's Alley. You know, he's a freelancer, so this is where he likes to be. This is where the jobs are. So Nash is a particularly tall and lean man in his early 50s. I've got long hair and kind of an almost over-trimmed beard, like Southern gentleman style. I've got vaguely cowboy attire with like cowboy boots, a trench coat, like a waistcoat. But all dusty, seen use. So kind of like a mix between legitimacy and like pomp. And as all the strangest people in the city seem to be gathering in one spot, I too will pull out a sandwich and remove the fish from it. And I'll say, there are some strange people about, Indy. And I'll throw the fish in my backpack, and then I'll put in between the two slices of bread a flask, and sort of mime eating the sandwich while I drink.
Nice.
I almost liked him.
Are you hiding this feeding of your animal at all? Does the group notice this? Are you doing it in secret, or it's just if people see, people see?
Not especially in secret. I'm just throwing a fish into a backpack so people can gather what they choose from that.
Gotcha.
Are you sure you don't want the fish? I would eat it.
And he goes over and picks the fish up off the ground that the Minotaur that Six threw on the ground, and then picks them up and throws them in his pot.
I'll just I'll pick up the backpack and put it on with some effort, as it seems to be quite heavy, and just say, "Oh, don't worry, it'll go to good use."
Okay. If you say so. I will eat just about anything, though, so keep that in mind.
I'm gonna lean over and offer you some hay.
He puts it in with the fish.
I'll tighten the latch on my backpack and give you kind of a sideways glance.
Nice. With his team in tow, Trundle now focuses in on his mission. He seems to be noticing that Nash, Six, and Gregor are all eyeing him in anticipation of what to do next. And seem to be following him and wondering and looking to him for guidance.
I believe that we should plan on what we need to do, right? Planning, that's a pretty important part of it, being in a crew. Anyone have any ideas on where we're going?
Well, before we get into the details about where we're going, I don't work for free, so talk compensation.
I'm gonna offer you some hay.
I look at the hay, I take a single strand of it, I put it in my mouth, I say, "This isn't gonna cut it." But thank you.
Well,
I vote we kick him out of the crew.
Okay. This is getting out of hand. Okay. Look, it's split evenly between all of us. Whatever we make. Okay? That's the deal.
I'll accept your terms for now.
All right. I'm also I would like to get paid. So, does anyone know if we got a contract for this thing? Is Jace here with us?
Jace is not. He Adventures Alley started to get a little too weird for him, so he headed out. But he regularly gives you finances of anything you need. He finances all the expenditures for your trip, and you get like a per diem when you get back for completing the job. So, well, let me put it this way: it's a per diem for anything you need on your trip, and then you get like a cash reward when you get back. But he has to have deliverables. So he actually slid some good sum of money in your hand right before he left because you discovered the location of the village. But he said in order for him to give you more, he needs like you to actually find the village, like go into the village and figure out what is there that could be summoning or artifact or relic that could be drawing him there.
How far away is the village? Like, how many days travel would you say?
Well, the Freyord is like out. It's a good ways from Piltover, and then so it's a 2 or 3 day journey just to get to the wilderness, and then the particular mountain that you found, you know that it's a good day's travel inwards from there, and that's assuming good weather. But you know that Arctic landscape can get pretty can be difficult to navigate there.
You, my friends, We have a per diem here. I will split it amongst you. You must make sure you bring enough food for at least a week, probably more than a week. Maybe 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? We need a lot of food, and maybe get something warm to wear. I know that's a pretty important part of what we're doing, going into the cold. Bring parkas. And we'll figure it out along the way. But
Parkas. Right.
yes, have you ever been so cold that your very soul cries out for relief? That is the scenario we're going in. So just, choose wisely with your clothing.
Okay. Yes, I can relate to that. I did spend some time up north for a while and finding myself in my younger years.
Oh, interesting. Pretty uncommon to find yourself up north. I would be interested to hear that story one day.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to discuss the particulars. Especially now that I see money on the table, I'm happy to say or tell you really whatever you'd like to hear.
Well, I would like to hear if everyone is on board with this plan. Do we all have horses?
That's some kind of a joke.
Yeah, horses.
I don't appreciate this.
Do I look like a joke to you?
Do I look like a joke?
I just say these things. It usually works well on the humans.
Are you saying I'm not a human?
No, you are not a human.
I'm reconsidering my position on this team. But I take a slow chew of my sandwich and I just give a solemn nod. Yes, I'm on board.
I'll say, as far as food supplies, I do have a particular talent for survival, and I will pull out some very small, like dried up seeds, and I'll cast Goodberry on them.
Ooh, first
Ooh.
thing in the chat for this
Yay.
campaign. Look at that.
So the seeds immediately grow plump, like large grapes almost, and that not only do they restore 1 hit point, but the berry has enough nutrition to sustain a creature for 1 day. So,
Wow.
we can eat for a day off my good berries.
They look
Not
delicious.
Not in a weird way. They are delicious.
Well, I will probably
It wasn't-
eat 2 of those berries.
I'm feeling
Fair enough.
weirdly
There are
hungry
10
for your
and-
good berries.
It wasn't weird until you said not in a weird way. I just want to point that out.
I'd just like to say that was P.S. Zombie saying that. Nash said no such thing. So your character isn't uncomfortable. Only you personally are
Okay.
uncomfortable.
Perfect. Perfect. I was just checking.
Yes, I have 10 of the berries, and so there should be a few of us could eat 2 if we needed to.
Are any of them hay flavored?
Or if we come in... Pardon?
Are any of them hay flavored?
Alas, no. I don't know technically what the spell's supposed to taste like, but imagine it tastes much like wild berry by the foot.
I'm going to check the rule book.
I'm gonna do
Like,
a.
When you peel the fruit by the foot and then ball it up, like kind of like that.
I do a perception check with advantage for smell to see what they taste like or what they smell like.
Mm.
Ooh.
Smelling the good berries.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
What flavor is it?
They
PM.
kind of smell like fish.
Wow.
Oh no.
Trundle is very
No.
excited.
What a wonderful flavor.
I would offer to ferment these to make some booze, but smells like they might already be fermented.
I have always wanted to try fish beer.
Well, looks like there's enough money on the table that I might be able to make us some.
I'm not going on this trip anymore.
I walk over to the fishmonger and buy some fish.
Here you go, kid. This is
you.
the smelly tuna special. Here you go. 2 copper.
This is for my famous fish beer.
Oh, here's the salmon. This is the.
Well, he makes fish beer.
The fishmonger takes the fish back.
You had
This
me
is
at
the
end.
best crew.
It is my flaw. I am too enamored of ale, wine, and other intoxicants.
Nice.
As my traits come up, I'll announce.
Very cool. Very good.
Perhaps I will procure us a cart and horse. To pull that cart, a less conscious horse than a typical two-legged equine being, but and then we will go to Fjordskarl or whatever, and unless you all want to go to the bar first, because it might be a while before we see a city again.
That's why I say there's no time, and I just take
Also,
the I just take
These
the,
are good
the
enough.
bridle in my mouth, and I'm ready to be the horse for the team.
Well, if these are burden not distasteful, we have invented other means of locomotion here in
And
Minnesota.
I say through just no time.
Oh,
Alright, there's no time apparently.
I like your
City
ambition.
with airships.
Follow this man. I mean, cow. I mean, minotaur. Yes.
I don't like him.
This 6. I guess we just head out of the city.
Alright. You guys get your supplies you need. The per diem that is offered to you by Jace is very generous. You can pretty much buy anything you need. So you were able to procure things to keep you warm. Some of you get extra rations
Hold on.
and equipment.
I forgot to pick up my laser katana. I am going back. I have plenty of per diem to get it, so.
Well, I'll say I went ahead and gave each of you 2 good berries and kept 4 for myself. So each of them will restore 1 hit point and give you all the nutrients you need for a day. So feel free to use those whenever you like. And then, yeah, I guess as far as warm weather gear, I'll probably buy some sort of cowboy hat, maybe a poncho. Nothing with fur out of sensitivity for our vestigial comrade.
I'm a horse. I don't care if you wear fur.
You
Let's
are a
suck what's
founding man. He
I'm
cares
wearing-
for fish, but not for thieves.
I'm wearing a black horse fur parka. Very warm.
I'm just going to hope that you walk behind me at some point during this journey so I can just mule kick you.
Noted.
Trundle didn't really change at all. He's just basically wearing the same thing he was in the alley. He has no problem with it, with the cold.
Cold never bothered me.
Yeah, he pulls out a little Elsa DVD. Anyway,
Piltover is very advanced.
should we have gotten like a dirigible or something?
A
I mean, we could
dirigible?
get
Is that like a
anything
musical instrument?
we want.
Did I just skip a whole like market scene, Putu? Were we supposed to go buy a
Again,
bunch?
you helped me out. You guys all met up at the same exact point, and you didn't stay in the city. That's literally a thriving metropolis with a million avenues I could DM. I appreciate it. Now you're out of town. And
It's
I
like,
don't have
you
to
already
DM
left.
any of it.
Take two backsies.
That's right. Okay.
All right.
I'm just gonna pick up a bunch of darts for my blowgun, and we'll leave it there for now.
Trundle buys twice as much food as a normal person would buy to go on this type of journey. So he's just walking around with like half a horse, you know, over his shoulder as he heads off into the woods.
Nice.
I guess I'll just buy some bullets. That's all I need.
Yeah. And, before we, before we head out, I'm acting kind of shifty and looks almost as if I'm speaking to myself before heading off and picking up materials that you'd use to manage and take care of a blade.
So you're looking for. Repeat that one more time. You're looking for things to manage a blade.
Like to maintain sharpness and the quality of like a blade
Okay.
or a sickle.
Gotcha.
Like a whetstone and
Yeah.
some kind.
Maybe like a oil or something. Or
Whetstone, a dry stone.
So you,
Every kind of
uh,
stone they
a
have.
moist stone. Maybe some Windex
Gotcha.
because it's real shiny.
So you walk
WD-40.
into.
Some WT-40.
You try to like slide.
Makes
Right,
nary a
it's my
sound when I
shoulder.
pull it out of the sheath. Yeah.
There you go. You try to sidestep into to literally a shady store. It's like on the corner in a shadow, and there's a guy who's
Yes.
like, "Welcome to Shady Steve's. What can I get you?" And he like just pops out the door. He's like, "You, what you need?" I'm Shady
I
Steve.
kind of jump back. Where did you come from?
I hide here and give things that may or may not be legally on the market.
Okay, I'm just looking for some materials to maintain my blade, sir. Do you think you can help me with that?
Yes, of course. He shuts the door and you hear some rattling around. Pops back open. You're looking at the store. It's literally like crammed in between two other buildings. Like you're like, no way. Like it's like a closet. He has no room. And you see, you hear a lot of racket, a lot of banging around, and he presents you with a just a bundle of leather, and then he gives it to you. He's like, here you go. I'm gonna need about 50 gold, which you
50
have,
gold
You have plenty of gold if you want to pay the man.
for a piece of leather and a whetstone.
I mean, there's more in here than just that. You said everything to clean a blade. There's a whetstone. I got some Steve Shine from Shady Steve's.
All right.
I like
Does
alliteration
he-
in my shop. What can I say?
Yeah, moist.
Moist stones.
I'll pay for your Steve Shine. I throw down the 50 gold kind of resentfully because it seems way too steep a price. And clutch deluxe blade care kit against my chest.
He slowly scratches it off the floor and slams the door behind. Inside the bundle, there's a whetstone. There's several different vials of like cleaning solution for the blade. There's a sharpening stone. There's a polish cloth. There's lots of things for maintaining the blade. Very nice. Anything else from the city?
I keep feeling like I'm gonna regret not buying that laser katana. But other than that, I'm ready to go.
You ever seen a?
Sorry, pal,
was
we're
it-
out of, you're out of them. We're fresh out. We got supposed to get
was
a
it
shipment
sun
tomorrow.
sword?
Well, like Six said, we have no time to waste. We have to go to a village for some reason.
JC's
I
gone.
agree.
JC's gone. Good. Don't give that man his laser katana. You got it, bud. All right. The team now equipped to handle the frosted waste to the north. Head out. Now we'll move over the players to the overview map of League of Legends.
Oh.
This is the League of Legends map with all the worlds inside of League of Legends.
Where'd you get that?
I can't say because copyright infringement. It's it has all the worlds in there though, and you guys are located towards the center. You see Piltover's right there. It's a giant utopian city there on the coast. You take an airship out of Piltover pretty quickly to Noxus, and you even ride a smaller airship from Noxus to the very edge of the Freljord, where it starts to get very snowy and frosty. At that point, you're forced to land and do the rest of your travel in on foot as you go deeper and deeper into the frozen tundra. And I will cut off the Piltover music, and I will cut on the Freljord music. Transition. There. Okay. You guys start to go on your journey, and it is a lot more difficult than you realized. A snowstorm has really picked up, and you are trying to remember your way, Trundle, and you have done this track several times. This is sort of your home, but even for you, it's pretty difficult. So what's going to happen is, what happens is you start your travels, and it's light snow when you first start, and you're kind of excited, and you're starting this new adventure, but as you start making your way towards that mountain that you remember being the village, it's getting more and more difficult to travel. Your speed is reduced. You're going about half your speed that you can go mechanically, and just for visualization purposes, you're kind of trudging through some very large snow drifts. The snow has started to turn into a blizzard. It's really starting to hammer the area that you're traveling through, and it's getting kind of hard to see. So I'm going to need the group to give me some survival checks, or survivor checks to navigate the storm and not get lost. You're not totally buffeted by the storm yet, but you sure as heck can't see. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a net.
Trundle, he bends down and gets some snow and tastes it, and it's like, this sounds like, tastes like West Riven snow.
Leadbet, this is your first check, man. You'll go to your spreadsheet, you'll pull up your character sheet, and you'll click on survival, and it will generate in the chat your number.
Just click on the. I'm in my character sheet.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of on the it's to the right of your stats, kind of on the left side. All your skills are listed. If you just click on the word survival.
So I go under characters, click my name, go into character sheet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, under
See
the
my
core tab.
survival.
That's it.
But looking at it doesn't give me.
Don't click the check mark. Just click the word itself. Should.
Does it turn red when you hover over it?
It's and nothing here. Everything looks like it's zeroed out, which is weird.
Let me take a peek at your character sheet. Oh, okay. You need to switch to the core tab. Instead, you're on like the settings tab, I think.
Then go down to survival at the very bottom and click on it.
I told you it was West driven.
Oh wait, here we go. Okay, we're good.
I just did a survival
Wow.
sheet for you, but you should do your own. 'Cause that
Wow.
did really well.
Critical success.
Critical.
Good at survival.
There it is.
Wow, still good. Okay.
Wow.
What are the chances?
This man can't fail.
22 plus 24 plus 17 plus 6 divided by 4 is an average of 13. You guys are able to successfully see the right direction. You're starting to approach the base of the mountain. As you start,
I'll say that
go ahead.
that once we were off the airship and it was down to just the party, I went ahead and let Indy out. So I opened my backpack and out crawls an infernal drake, a small red dragon. It's like it's just a baby, maybe the size of like a medium dog, but he's got little wings, little tail, just a sweet little guy. And he behaves much like a smart dog, like he's following me and just hopping around in the snow.
Can I roll to see if it likes me or doesn't like me?
Sure, give me just a d20 luck check. Just
No,
roll
give me an animal handling.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Ugh.
Hey
There
now.
you go.
Yes, it's a cute little dragon.
It likes you a lot.
Yeah, that's due to your life in the cold. You radiate quite a bit of heat because you have a good internal core temperature. So he immediately is wanting to sit on your shoulder and stuff, soak up some of that excess heat.
Tell me,
Perfect.
does this kind of climate have any impact on little... What's his name?
He's an infernal drake. I kind of pull you aside a little bit. I killed his mommy, so felt obliged to help out.
Ah. It's kind of adorable. I like it.
Yes, I didn't. I'd only met the big mean ones. I didn't think they could be tamed, but he's doing all right so far. I call him Indy, short for Infernal Drake. I'm not especially
That's easy to
creative.
remember. Not
He's-
especially what?
Creative.
I like this.
You overhear Trundle just sort of laughing and like, you are make for a good mascot for the crew.
He like tries to draw a little dragon face on his leather armor.
I've heard stories about people having little dragon pets, but I've never actually seen one. This is actually fascinating. I once had a pet fish, but
Well,
Oh.
glad
the sad
number
of
of-
childhood.
the amount of fish I've seen this guy eat, I'm glad it's dragon. I don't think a pet
Indeed.
fish would last long in this crew.
Well, it's all we had where I grew up. Really wasn't missed very much.
You
I
Grew
take
up
a swing
alone
of
then?
the. It's a long story, but as I as I said on the trip over, I made my way through by making fermented fish beer. Believe it or not, it's quite lucrative where I'm from. But
Did I just hear fish beer again? I am so excited to try this one day.
I casually toss a flagon of fish beer over.
But
You
I'm going
did?
to ask you where you're from so that I can never go there. Fish beer is the drink of choice.
Yes, I'm wondering too where you get to drink all the fish beer you want.
Well, it's
This was something I had a dream about. I didn't know it was real.
you see, there's a very, very little small village off the coast of Dawn. It's got a very successful fishing industry. Believe it or not, if you ferment the fish just right, you get a very zesty umami beer from what's left over.
That sounds wonderful.
It's not, but we make do.
All right, you piqued my curiosity. I'll take one as well.
I pull out what seems to be like an obnoxious amount of fish beer and toss it over.
Are there is it just beer with like a fish in it and the fish tail is sticking out, or if we like mixed up?
That's more of a sophisticated take on it. We do serve it that way, and there is a few fish tails laying about,
Like the scorpion tequila or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely plausible that I might give you something like that. But
Okay.
but I actually I kind of have some leftover containers that I've been putting all of this beer in. I'm very, very resourceful on the road because I've been doing this traveling thing for a while, and I actually brew on the go.
He's got a little brew cart.
A little brew. It's very, very small.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Trundle just chugs it, just shoop, puts it back, and belches very loudly. And you notice a strange, affect the air around when he burps. It freezes and falls to the ground like any water vapor that's in the air, and then
The
Like
bird-
those videos of people throwing boiling water in the snow. Just
yeah.
instantly turns to snow.
While you're traveling up the mountain, mind you, the burp that Trundle lets out is so loud it starts to shake some of the mountain. And so
Oh, no.
pieces of ice and rock and snow start to come crumbling down. And we have our first environmental thing related to that. So I need everybody to do a dexterity save as these large
Ooh.
bits of ice and rock and snow
Oh no.
come avalanching down towards your direction.
This is what fish beer causes.
Yes.
I was going to do an
does it to
avalanche,
me
but what
every
better
time.
way than off of a burp from Trundle? This is perfect.
Everyone says
Got to
a
stay
gulp
on
of
your
fish
toes.
beer is worth 7 years bad luck. I wish I had told you before that happened.
So I need so go to dexterity save on your character sheet. Ledbet. There you go. Okay. So Alex, 6, and Gregor are not able to get out of the way. So you see Radical Nash be very radical and dash out of the way. Trendle just kind of tumbles his way out of the way of these rocks and stuff. But the giant Minotaur 6 gets caught up in the rocks and the snow and buffeted by some of the ice. And Gregor also gets kind of sideswiped and hit. And so you guys are going to take a D8 of cold damage as these pieces of ice and rock hit you. And I'm going to roll a D10. And you guys only take 1 damage. That's pretty nice. So take 1 damage, Ledbet, off your hit points. You'll minus that number by 1. It's that number in the center. And then, Alex, you need to minus 1 off yours as well.
Yep. I stand back up and dust myself off, I just mutter fish fear under my breath and kind of trot away for a little while. I'm very mad.
Speaking of, I'll take a sip and just like immediately retch. Just the.
Yes, the sounds of my people. It brings me back
So
home.
I just shake my head, take my flask, top it off, and keep going. Yeah, if you want to get back that 1 HP, you may eat one of my good berries,
Oh, yeah.
as it heals exactly 1 HP.
There you go.
I take a bite and remember that it's kind of fishy in odor and think, is this what the fish may have tasted like?
Do
Now,
your perception
I was
check,
gonna-
Alex.
No.
I'll go ahead and eat one of the fish berries. Remark to myself that this might go well with my brewing side gig, and
The berry tastes somewhat familiar to you, but you just can't place it, Alex.
Oh. Well, now I'm less upset.
Okay. So after that, you guys recover from that avalanche coming towards you, and you start to pick up the pace even more. You're continuing to do this ascent. You almost seem to be winding around this mountain. As you start getting closer and closer to about the middle of the mountain, you notice that the snowdrift here is getting very, very big, and you're having to push your way through the snowdrift. So I need everyone to give me a strength check to see if you can move. So either a athletics or just a general strength. Okay, strength save. All right. So
I am very strong.
Gregor, Nash, and Trundle are able to push through the snowdrift. Alex, 6 has gotten caught up in the snow, and so you are sort of stuck in the snow right now as you watch your companions start leaving you and trudging on ahead.
Don't mind me. I'm just carrying the cart back here.
Hey, I think we need the carts and 6, of course. I am being a good group leader. I don't leave anyone behind. So Trundle heads back to try to pull Nash out.
All right,
Of
give
the-
me a strength check to do that. All right, you're able to
Strong
slowly tug him out of the snow.
All right. Just watch out, next time.
Perhaps it would be wise to tie a rope between us. Sometimes people do it when they climb mountains. Make sure if anyone falls, the rest can drag them to safety.
I knew
That's
we
a good
brought
idea.
you for a reason.
So I've got some hempen rope. And,
I
Good
also
idea.
have some
What
if we
the
need
Minotaur
more.
falls?
well, that's
Join
why
the
we have a
rest.
troll.
I'm like, all right. Grudgingly begin to wrap myself in this hemp rope.
Gregor, I feel like you should probably be at one end or the other.
I completely agree. Perhaps at the very end,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
or maybe at the very beginning.
Yeah,
I believe the end would be wise.
Worried that if you slip
Sure.
off the mountain, I'll go. Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I'll go. Yeah, I guess I'll go at the end.
I'm sure you can hold all 3 of us up.
I don't think that's true.
So we'll put Trundle at the front, and then 6, and then me, and then Gregor, and I'll do a separate length of rope just long enough that Indy can sit on Trundle's shoulder.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
because he's better on the front.
let's
He's better
do-
on the front lines.
Let's do this so I can remember the order. Let's do your character tokens on the game board for me, please.
Oh.
Put them over there on the free
Yeah.
yard. So, Leadbet, you just can drag your sheet over and drop it onto the map, and we'll put your token in there.
I am that
I'll leave Indy
Blue
off for now, and
character.
we'll just know that he's with Trundle.
Yeah, I can't add images. I've gone over my limit for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You want to go delete stuff?
No. That would be
Curse.
really hard because I'm like way over my limit because I used to have an account that had a much larger limit.
Can you
So-
guys?
Sorry if my icon isn't exactly
Hundreds
fitting
of
for the
pictures.
situation.
No, let's a plug for Game Observatory, so no worries. Can
Alright, so...
you guys order
Mine.
them
So
in a
it's
line?
like-
There we go, thank you.
Well, I guess I'm here. There we go.
Okay.
And we'll just know that Indy's with...
I really like the Minotaur.
Thank you.
It's very cool.
Here are the characters,
That's
folks.
That's what I envisioned when I pictured him, when I created him. This is what he looked like.
And why would you picture anything else?
Well, my thoughts exactly.
Okay, so you had that set up. You guys are starting to make good headway, though. Once you got through that snowdrift, now you're just having to deal with the higher level atmosphere. You're starting to get on high up. You look back over your shoulder, and you can see just the frozen landscape sprawled out. You have a very good point of view up here as you're getting some really high altitude, several hundred feet up at this point. So you're also noticing it's so cold up here. It is so much more cold. You're starting to really feel the effects of Jeff as he's in the wind. My name's Jeff, just a sound notification. But anyway,
these echoes, they're
the
so
echoes of
strange.
Jeff that are just memes. Meme echoes are up here. You notice too how much it really shakes. It's the cold that shakes you to your core. It almost seems to cut through your bones up here. It almost affects your health. With that, I'm going to prompt you all to do a constitution check as the extreme cold is starting to mess with your physiology.
Ooh. Oh, he's environmentally adapted.
Oh. So you guys see Trundle just like shake it off like it was just a little shiver. And Radical Nash.
So the first one is me, and the second one is Indy.
Okay. Let me look at these numbers again. Okay. Trundle shakes.
It's almost as if I was born here.
Behind him in line is 6, and 6 shakes it off. Behind him is Radical Nash, who seems to be okay. And then Indy, the dragon, seems to be okay. But Gregor, it's so cold. The weather up here is just, it's so cold for you. So the extreme cold gets to you. The temperature up here is well below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're exposed to the cold, and you start to suffer a level of exhaustion. So what that is in D&D terms is there's these levels of exhaustion that you can suffer based on extreme hazards of the environment, and your character is now under the first level, And level 1 of exhaustion is. Let me look that up. But basically, you'll need to rest. It's going to give you a disadvantage on some stuff that won't repair until you get a rest.
Got it.
But
Is there anywhere I need to notate that?
you just kind of remember, and I'll remind you too. But basically, level 1 of exhaustion is you have disadvantage on ability checks. So basically, when you roll, and you've noticed kind of on the chat, you've noticed there's 2 numbers. You're
Yes.
gonna always take the lower number now until you get this satisfied.
I begin to form ice crystals like around my eyelids that I'm trying desperately to blink out. I realize this isn't quite the beaches of Zon that I remember. I try to saddle up a little bit closer to Nash and Indy, hoping that Indy will get, irritated and maybe blow some fire to freeze the hair that's slowly like clawing at the back of my head from being frozen.
That's good.
He'll give some little like pathetic coughs in your direction, but just a little bit of smoke comes out, and I'll say, "Sorry, he's still learning that trick."
Oh, great! That's great. You should. Good job. I stammer as I'm trying to both support this and completely frustrated by how continuously uncomfortable I am by the biting cold.
I'll shout up to Trundle and be like, "Perhaps we should find some shelter. Maybe try to wait out the storm."
Oh,
I'm gonna second that idea. You ever smelled wet horse? It's pretty terrible.
have you all ever made a snow hut before?
I've made a sandcastle.
Similar principles.
Give me a perception check with advantage, Joel. Or sorry, Clement. You can't
I'm not
quite see it,
doing.
but you can sense that you're close to that village.
I see. I just have a feeling if we just keep going, we should be to the village soon. Who's with me?
I'll follow you.
Yeah,
So let's keep on push through.
we gotta tough it out.
Afraid to stop, I might die.
Trundle
Go ahead.
picks up Gregor, puts him on his other shoulder.
How does
Thank you.
Gregor accept this?
Oops.
I'm just grateful to not have to keep moving. And the fact of the matter is that his shoulder is emanating some heat that was absent otherwise, so I just kind of let it happen.
Nice. And you looks like you cast a cantrip, Nash?
No, that was an accident. I was trying to read it for myself to see if I could generate fire with it,
Okay.
but I can't.
If you want to try the rumbling of thunder or something loud around the mountain, you're welcome to give it a whirl.
I think I dare not.
Okay. Very well. I tried. All right.
Don't worry. I've got a big old gun. It's gonna go off eventually. That's one character trait I forgot to mention. I have a comically oversized pistol at my side. Double-barreled. Obviously my pride of joy. Very filigreed and gilded and
American.
ready to fire. Piltover in.
That's right.
That's how we like it here in Piltover.
Thanks, great.
Okay. You guys are still traveling up. Gregor is being carried. by Trundle. He's shivering.
Trundle, can you take smaller steps, please? I'm starting to feel the pain in my ribs.
These are the smallest steps I can make.
Yeah, all right.
There's just this big like trail behind Trundle and Six through the snow, I guess.
Very convenient for me, who's just kind of riding their wake as a human-sized person. It's like the snow's been plowed before me.
Yeah.
So you all start pushing onward. Trundle kind of encourages you to keep going, and he thinks he's close. It's strange. You're seemingly have nobody around here. Are you casting that?
I didn't mean to. I meant to. I was just trying
Ow, that hurts.
to... oh, I'm so sorry.
Just by touching him, you cast kill check because you're so cold.
I'm so cold that... Yeah. I'm just inadvertently doing magic now.
Yeah, like spazzing out.
So, I'm so sorry. I'm
I
losing
only
control
take
of my...
4 points of damage.
The path you are taking up the mountain has winded you around the mountain. It is a narrow path, but each of you were able to stick to that, travel in a line, and move around the mountain. You don't have to scale up the mountain. You haven't had to do much climbing. It's been a pretty accommodating path, considering the fact you're on the side of a mountain and considering the fact that you're in extreme elements. But it's been kind of nice to have somewhat of a walkway, even with rather big characters like Trundle and Six. You've been able to manage yourself pretty well on this path. It's led you up and around the mountain. As you come around the bend, you're very, very close to the top of the mountain. The path cuts into the mountain. And you immediately round the bend and you notice that there is no top of the mountain. It's almost hollowed out. And you've came into an alcove. You can see that the walls of this mountain are pointing up around you and almost have this shielding effect for this small little village. Now, what sits in front of you is a very meek village, maybe 5 or 6 buildings max, made out of old marble. Now, most of the buildings, matter of fact, all of the buildings are damaged pretty significantly. It doesn't seem like a village. It actually seems more like ruins. You don't see any sign of a fire or activity, except from one building in the middle. The one building in the middle is a fairly large steeple that immediately comes up from the ground and starts to pin inwards, and would be about a football field in circumference. So it's a circular cone that comes up, and it has a pretty ornate entrance. There's a little door, a wooden door with a beam over it, and there seems to be 2 windows next to that door where you're seeing some version of campfire light coming through. And then the rest of the building is pretty basic, as it all goes into a steeple and has a very spiral tip at the steeple. All the other buildings around seem to be in disrepair. There's no sign of activity from any sort of villagers or anything going on at these other places. There's a well you pass as your eyes sort of drawn to the center building that's obviously the most structurally sound and attractive building out of all these. But you can tell there seems to be some sort of remains of a village here. And then you all are staring at these ruins, staring at this very large building in the middle of all these ruins, wondering where you are. The coldness has died down a little bit as you're kind of sheltered in this little hollowed out inside of the mountain. The wind has seemed to be blocked by this rotating the walls of the mountain, and it's oddly oddly quiet up here. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna kind of hold up one hand to say like stop, and
He
say
said,
what say we take a look around before we announce our arrival. And I'm going to cast without a trace, and I am going to just kind of gesture out to the ground around us, to the snow, to the wind, and just go shh, and all the sound around us will start to dampen. The snow will seem to fall gentler, the wind will seem to die down in the immediate radius around us, and all of us have a +10 to stealth as long as I am focused on this.
Wow. I feel like our footprints, they all just filled up with snow.
and I guess all our footprints are gone. No
Yes.
trace.
Or
Any-
footprints.
Of course.
Well, it's certainly going to be easier to hide our tracks.
I'm delighted that there's just a small break in the.
Yes, it doesn't have a physically warming effect, but it might have a
Right.
psychological effect to
Like,
not
calm.
hear the roaring
Sure.
snow and wind for
Yes.
a moment.
Yes.
I'm very impressed by the brutalist architecture that contrasts with this the Gothic elements of a steeple. Do you also have any critiques of the architecture?
And he it has this weird moment where he gets really intellectual, and then it kind of goes away. And he goes back to being more brutal.
No,
What-
What was I saying?
Well, they could use a coat of paint if that's what you're saying.
You still have Gregor on your shoulders. You're talking about architecture.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm just kind of looking a little bit astounded, but also impressed.
Nice.
I'm trying to decide which of these buildings we
Oh,
should go
Nash.
first, or where we should go.
Yeah, Nash,
do we
do you
wanna
want
check out
to
the
sweep the
buildings?
perimeter?
Or do we want to go right ahead and see if we can identify who the people are? What are we thinking?
Yeah.
I'm
Check
probably
the
inclined to
people
check
first.
out the people first, because if they're friendlies, we can check out the village as much as we want.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, I can head in on my own, or we can all go.
Let's
What do you
all go.
feel?
Do you think these people
Don't
will know
sense
where
it.
we can find fire?
Seems like maybe they already have fire.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll come with you.
I feel like it would be, and I've had this experience in the past. It probably would be better if I wasn't the first one to show up.
I jump off of his shoulder, anticipating getting as close to the fire as possible.
He's like so spry now, just like, let's go.
All right.
So
Put my running shoes on.
Are you guys just approaching casually, or are you sneaking around?
I think we're gonna stealth up and try to peek in one of the windows. That's my intent.
All right, everybody, give me stealth checks. That's the stealth part on your character sheet. Just click.
And then it'll be +10 to all of these numbers.
All right. Nash is fully stealth.
Sorry.
Alex is.
Let's have a look.
eh,
That'll be Indy. So the lowest is 13, I guess.
And DM, just so you know, Trundle's kind of like hanging back. Even though, you know, I got a 13, I guess.
You approach each of you. Nash, approaches like a thief in the night. He's so quick and gets up. Gregor swiftly runs towards that fire and stealthily. Trundle like bangs around a little bit, makes a little racket. Same thing with 6. And you don't get a reaction immediately. You guys are now in front of the door, and the windows, the door of this steeple, and the windows of this steeple are about a story up, so you can't necessarily peer into them. They're not at eye level. You'd have to like climb up to see into the next level over. But you can definitely tell there's a fire in there, and there is light coming from those windows.
Is there a door that might have like a keyhole or a crack or something? Anything where I can see inside the building?
It's a 2-panel big large door like you'd see on the front of a large church. There's no locking mechanism, no keyhole, nothing like that. Just a crossbar that is over the 2 doors. Like just a piece of 2x4 that is holding the 2 doors under a catch of the door. Does that make sense?
So is it locked from the outside?
It's almost like it's barred up with a board. So it's got handles. If you were to remove that board off of the catch, you could pull it open with the handles. There's no lock or nothing like that. But it does seem
like
to be locked.
you could only open it from the outside?
Correct.
That seems kind of odd.
You should probably open this door because I'm very cold.
I guess there's no sense dying out here.
I think that we're probably really friendly considering it's locked from out here.
Yeah, right. It's nothing but a good sign.
Only a good sign.
For us, maybe not so much for them.
All right, I say the 3 of us take position and Trundle open the door just in case. And I'll draw my gun and point it at the door.
Okay.
I will gladly be our welcoming party.
So you guys are readying your weapons, basically.
Yeah.
Should we not send in an envoy to try to establish
I think Gregor's
peace?
like legitimately trying to be friendly. I'm being cautious.
It's really out of necessity.
You don't have to. You can not ready your weapon. It is totally up to you. You have your own agency here.
Afraid that if I don't get warm, that I might start to explode.
Trundle pulls out a shield, like a fairly good-looking shield and a one-handed battle axe, and walks up to the door.
All right. Well, in light of Gregor kind of being our face and like standing to legitimately greet people, I'm gonna kind of like lean against the wall to the side of the door with my gun, like out of sight once you open the door, just to wait and see what might happen. So I can put my gun away if they're friendly before they see it, or I can be ready to attack.
So
you know what? That's probably a good idea. I think I'll just hide behind the door as I open it.
Okay.
So all they'll see is Gregor as the doors open.
I'm going to duck out of the way as well, mostly just because I don't want to be any part of this. I'm pretty comfortable, and so I'm going to have my weapon ready in case there is an attack, but I'm just going to stand to the side so they can't see me either.
The reality is that I really have to pee, and I'm afraid that it's frozen. And I would love to get by the fire before I try.
But not too by the fire.
Not too by the fire.
Yeah,
Not pistol on fire.
Pretty close.
that's right.
I'm hoping that maybe the bathroom also has a fire in it, if there's such a thing.
Okay, so who is taking the crossbar off the door? Are you doing it
Leave
stealthily?
Trundle still.
That would be me.
Are you doing it stealthily or just doing it?
I am just doing it.
All right, you do it. You open the door.
I
Go ahead.
So yeah, I gingerly step through the crack in the door
Okay.
and kind of swing my arms out extravagantly, like, "Hello, friends. It's I, a humble traveler."
Okay. There is these two characters.
400 zombies. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
One is a dragonborn male, and the other is a tiefling female. And they both look at you very surprised, very, very surprised, shocked rather. They are wearing very ornate garb, as you can see. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit for Twitch to be able to see. And they immediately narrow their eyes at you and look at you. And you can tell they are mages. They have everything related to mage stuff and garb on. The male dragonborn has a staff. The female has sort of this magical presence about her, and they are both just staring you down. And when you come in to do your ambiance and your kind of greeting, they don't look too happy that you're coming into their territory. And the dragonborn speaks up and says, "Who are you? Why are you here? This is sacred ground."
Forgive the intrusion, my friend, my fellow kinsfolk. I am also a practitioner of the sacred arts, arcane arts. My name is Gregor. Gregor of, and he kind of thinks for a second because he's forgotten the name of his town that he's from.
While you're thinking, though, you
Zone?
get distracted because you notice what's in the room. You didn't notice at first. You were immediately struck by these two, but now that you're in the room, you're floored by what you see. In the middle of the room, in the middle of this giant chapel, is a rune circle. It's has magical glowing runes all over it. It's a big circle, about 10 feet in diameter, in the very middle of the room. Above you, you can see all the way up to the very top of the chapel. But about halfway up, there is a cube. And the cube is spinning and rotating slowly in different different axes, and it'll vary it in speed. It'll go fast, it'll stop, it'll go slow. It knows general direction. It just kind of seems to twitch and fidget in different directions and speeds. And this cube is fairly large. I mentioned earlier that the diameter of the whole chamber is about a football field in length. This cube takes up about half of it. It's pretty crammed into this middle of the ceiling, and it's just hovering directly above the rune circle on the floor. The rune circle almost seems to be pulsating energy up to the cube, and the cube seems to be pulsating some energy back down to the circle. So you're immediately kind of struck by this because this is some crazy looking magic that you hadn't seen before. And while you're pausing on your name of your town, the Dragonborn cuts you off and says, it is no matter where you're from. You do not need to be here. Please leave. These are sacred grounds." And he sort of like extends his staff at you in almost a ready-in stance. Now, what do the rest of you guys do that are watching? You gotta see some of this from the periphery.
Okay, I'm going to come around the corner of the door with my greatsword held outward, but I will also have been mid-bite of hay, and so I'll have some sort of trailing out of my mouth. But I'm ready for battle.
Upon you immediately introducing, brother, another one approaches, and you see the female tiefling start summoning some magic in her hands, and has narrowed down you. It appears they've traveled in a herd. Because he's a minotaur. Anyway,
I aim my great sword at her. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Trundle, as he's behind the door, because that was what I said he was doing, so they couldn't be. He just kind of tries to peek through the crack at the door jamb, between the door and the wall where the hinge is. See if he can see what's on the other side. I don't know if he can or not, DM.
He can.
Okay.
He sees everything I described to Gregor.
Typically, this would be more of a tribe than a herd. You should know this.
I'm gonna step out kind of into the doorway and say, Trundle, did there used to be folks living in this town?
DM?
You have no idea. You have no idea, Trindle. This is weird to you.
I don't know the answer to that, my friend. I didn't get this close.
Oh. I'll point the gun at the Dragon Boy and say, then I guess I gotta ask you, did there used to be folks living in this town?
He seems to ignore your question because the female tiefling gets his attention quickly and says, brother, perhaps we should retreat into the cube. And the Dragonborn pipes up, yes, there is a good amount of them. We might need to retreat for now and get some reinforcements from the cube. And they start to slowly, with the Dragonborn with his staff out, and the female tiefling with her hands with magic sparkling, start to take a few steps towards the center of the rune circle. And I will give you all a reaction or one action in response to them sort of moving towards the center of this rune circle before we go do anything else, like any initiative or anything like that.
Okay. Anybody got anything?
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull up the initiative counter just so we can, since things are getting tense, and I don't know how things are going to play out. So let me pull up the initiative board.
Ow.
All right.
I guess that makes sense. I'm behind a door.
You're going to select initiative. There you go.
You gotta select your token, unfortunately, before you click the button.
I can do it for you, Ledbat. I got you.
Let's just manually change it.
Who has higher dex? What's your dex, Ledbat?
I got
0.
I got 18, so plus 1.
Okay, so you've got the tie break on that. Alex, I need you to hit your initiative.
Oh wait, am I?
Yep, I'm looking for initiatives. Sorry.
It's up there at the top by the armor class and the speed.
Oh, yeah. I was looking along the left. Sorry. Thank you.
Someone see some speed. I'll show you some real speed.
Real speed.
Alright, so I'm definitely going last.
You need to send me your character token climate. This is sad. I can help you out.
I did. It's in Discord.
Okay, cool. I'll put it up next time. All right. So let me sort the initiative order, and I will add the. Oh, let me add the home girl and boy. Oh, do you want to do? Yeah. Do you want to do his own initiative, Indy's own initiative, P.S. Ombre, or would you like you to both to function as a group? It's up to you.
I think I'll just confirm. I think he goes right after my turn.
Okay.
So we share initiative. Let me just make sure that's true. Yeah, it shares my initiative and takes its turn immediately after. So.
Things are getting tense. Okay. All right. So the apprentice mage male goes first, the Dragonborn, and he is just going to shuffle towards the middle of the rune circle, and you see the rune circle respond to his presence almost immediately. It starts to chime and hum with seemingly magical arcane power, and you notice also that give me perception checks actually for anything else that you may see. So just hit perception check on your sheet, and I'll tell you if you notice anything else when he steps onto the rune circle. Okay. Dash, you notice that his wrist is a little amulet that immediately responds the same way and has runes that start to appear along it. Leadbet, you don't really notice anything beyond what I described. And then Six and Trundle, if you guys want to do checks, you're welcome to it. Perception checks.
Give it a shot.
You don't notice much. Six notices kind of what Nash notices. He notices that there is something glowing on his arm. Can't necessarily notice it's an amulet, but he seems to have some sort of device located around his arm that is controlling this rune circle. Is what you see, Alex, your character. And then Nash, your character just happens to see the actual device that seems to be reacting.
So does he disappear or anything, or does just
not yet? It seems to be almost charging up or warming up. But you notice earlier they both said they wanted to retreat into the cube, was what you heard. So seemingly he's waiting on her. All right, Gregor, what you gonna do, man?
I just shout, before you go, can someone tell me where I can go relieve myself?
They just kind of stare at you.
Okay.
Do you want to attack, or you want to try to stop them?
I do kind of position my body between the two groups because I get the sense that they're on the defensive, but I'm afraid that I don't want to overreact and start a fight if we don't need to have one.
So you are probably in front as far as position wise. You're in front of the rest of the party, and because it's like Gregor and then everybody else came in behind from the door. So it's kind of like you're at the front of the player group. In front of you is this tiefling and this dragonborn, these two mages. And one has stepped into the center of the circle. The other one is on the fringe of getting just outside of the circle, the female. And you are just outside of the circle near the front. So if you wanted to kind of block their line of sight, you could just move inwards and sort of be standing between the two of them. I'll move your character token to kind of show you what I mean.
Yeah, so it's not even so much that I'm trying to stop my team or our team from reacting. It's more so that hey, let's just see what they're doing. for just a second, just in case they're not going to attack us. You know.
Hmm. So you
And also,
go ahead.
I really would like. I mean, I also think there's probably something really valuable here, and if we start firing off weapons and spells, we might destroy something really valuable.
Mhm.
I'd really like to take a look around before we start breaking things.
That's fair. So you step in next to the Dragonborn. Now you are in the circle. The circle, the rune circle, seems to respond to your presence. It seems to hum when you enter. And the Dragonborn immediately speaks up and says, "Get out! You are not supposed. You step away. You do not need to be here." As you've entered into the circle. Now, do you want to hold any sort of action? That basically in D&D you have the you can do your movement and something else. So if you want to try to persuade him, if you want to try to intimidate him, if you want to try to fight him, or if you just want to hold an action is another option where you can just say, if this happens, I will do this. So you can do that as well. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm like watching them pretty suspiciously, so I guess my hold action would be to prepare myself to respond if they try to attack me.
Okay.
But I'm curious. You know, I want to impress upon them that we're not here to like encroach or offend, but we are looking for shelter. Try telling them that.
You tell him, he just tells you to leave, and you hold your action. If anybody were to attack you, you would attack back, is what I'm hearing you say, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe I step back a little bit. Like I didn't mean to even step in the circle. You know, I just kind of rushed in here real fast, thinking kind of a thing.
Okay. Do you want to step away after you get that feedback? Because you have up to, your character specifically has up to 30 feet of movement, so you could easily like step in the circle and step back in your same turn if you wanted.
Yeah, I'll walk back because I'm not trying to get caught up in some weird ritual thing. I've already got caught up in plenty of other weird ritual things, and I do not need an addition.
That's fair. One too many crazy freaking Fridays.
Yeah, I've already got a few other weird obligations going on behind the scenes. I don't need this one.
Gotcha.
In addition.
So you step back and out of the circle, but you prepare to attack if you get attacked. So that is your turn. We go to Nash. It is your turn.
I'm gonna run right outside, but up to the edge of the circle,
Okay.
and keep my gun pointed at the Dragonborn guy. And I'll say to him in Draconic, hoping he'll take that a little bit more seriously. All we need some answers. Don't do something you'll regret. But I'll still stay just outside the circle.
Are you intimidating or persuading when you say that, or are you just speaking it?
I reckon I'm intimidating.
All right, let's see it.
I don't know if I'm really good at that.
Okay. All right. Let's see. He's trying to. You see his rune amulet is sort of controlling the circle, and you say that in Draconic to him and point your gun at him in an intimidating way, and he seems to not do anything else with the circle. So before he stepped in, his amulet reacted. He seemed to be sort of interacting with the runes, sort of doing incantations and stuff, but he stopped all that. So he's just kind of frozen.
Cool.
You notice the energy levels on that rune circle too in response seems to have died down a little bit. It's still a low hum, but it's not as energetic as it was when he first entered the circle.
Cool.
All right. Does Indy do anything?
No, he's just kind of be looking back and forth between them and me, like waiting for a cube, so he's just gonna linger for now.
All right. Next up would be.
And he'll also be outside the circle.
Okay, so you guys, so no one's really standing in the circle yet. So then we go to Alex.
No, at the end of the day, I don't really mind, like, if we just end up in this building, but I'd rather figure out what's going on first.
Right.
I'm gonna run in as. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. What you gonna do?
I'm gonna run in as well, just to the outside of that circle. I'm not gonna. I don't want to get involved that directly, but I am gonna run in, kind of run up behind. So I'm not the first one next to the circle. I'm sort of back behind a few of the players, but I also will say, sort of affirm and kind of back up the team and saying, we don't have to do anything rash. Nobody has to get hurt. I'm gonna try to be intimidating. We'll see if that works.
Who are you doing it on?
The
The female or the male?
The female.
She just kind of smirks. It doesn't seem to take.
Bummer.
You got, like, hay in your teeth.
Yeah.
It's distracting. It ruined the moment.
Like I was saving that for
You
later.
kind of like got the
Sort of-
farmer, like, the piece of wheat sticking out. You're just like, don't do anything you'd regret. And it just doesn't.
Or
go
he's
on.
like,
Oh, come to fear that.
what's that bull from Disney? Fernando?
Yeah,
He's got, like, a
Fernando.
Oh yeah.
He's got, like, a little flower on his ear. It's, like, just too adorable to be intimidated.
Like, how did that get there? And then I just start eating it.
Go ahead. What else you got?
I think that's all I'm going to do is sort of try to discourage the violence from popping off.
All right. The female steps into the circle. It responds to her presence. It starts to hum. If you give me some more perception checks across the board, if everybody wants to see what happens in detail to her entry of the circle. So if you want to know a little bit more about what you see beyond that, Alex, she just
I'm
stepped
turned
into
around
a
the
circle.
other way.
Yeah, you're looking at the door. Ledbet just noticed that she entered the circle. Again, Nash, the amulet on she also has one on her wrist. It seems to be reacting as soon as she enters in the circle. She seems to be using incantations that interacts with that amulet that seems to control the circle and the cube above it. There seems to be some sort of a network here that she's able to control with the amulet and some incantations. And both of them look primed and ready to go somewhere, or for something to happen. Here.
Is that also what Trondle notices with the natural 20?
Yes, that is exactly what Tremble notices with us. You didn't notice it on the male, but now you're starting to put two and two together. And you all remember hearing the two of them talking about retreating into the cube. So this seems to be some sort of a teleportation circle is what you're all kind of starting to piece together. All right. Trundle, what would you do?
Hey, wait a second before you step through that portal. I also have a strange family background. Do you want to talk about it?
Counselor Trundle shows up. No, says the Dragonborn.
I mean, sometimes it helps to just talk it out, you know? All right. Well, in the name of Piltover, I command that you not step through that portal, or we will have to stop you.
All right, you're intimidating when you say that, correct? Or are you
Sure.
sure? All right, who are you directing it towards? Both of them?
Yeah, both.
Okay. Doesn't really take. The Dragonborn is still a little shook from the threat from Nash, but the female just keeps doing her thing.
Remind me real quick, DM. The our objective here. We're trying to find something.
Yes, Jace
I don't know why
said.
I blanked.
Jace thinks that there's something here that is calling out to him, and he has been commissioning Trundle over several missions to try to find this location in the fjord. And so this structure is what Trundle identified from a distance and commissioned you guys to go investigate.
So, I mean, would it be fair, do you think, to surmise based on what Jay said to us and like his, I guess his impression of what his visions were looking for, that we would feel confident that this is like related, that this is definitely our mission?
Yep. Specifically, and you all know kind of that Piltover's rune tech really exploded when Jace introduced magic into the mix.
Right.
And
Excellent.
that he remembers that moment out in the fjord when he was saved as that first exposure to magic. And so this is sort of that this is related to that first exposure to magic, and most likely definitely what you're looking for, because this seems to be a well of magic. See what I'm saying? So Jace has a vested interest because he feels he's being summoned here, but also Rune Tech could use whatever you guys find.
I wasn't necessarily trying to, I guess, use intimidation as my full action.
Okay.
But I will defer to you, of course. Doesn't make a difference, really. I guess I could do something else. Or you can go to the Dragonborn.
If you want to use movement.
Okay. Trundle comes out from behind the door, and I just feel like Trundle would, at the very least, stand in front of the rest of the party.
Okay.
Or at least come up to the front.
Okay. And nobody's in the circle, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
All right. The male Dragonborn goes again and says, "We must retreat to the cube." He sort of gets overcomes that intimidation, how he got shook from Nash from being threatened, and starts to do some more magic, speak incantations, and the circle seems to respond to that. And he starts doing some more magic incantations. So that's what he does. Is his turn, and the rune circle is powering up. It seems to be almost pulsating with energy all the way from the perimeter of the circle to the center, and more spits of sparkle of magic energy is spewing up from, pulling up from the center of the rune circle on the ground and spewing up in towards the cube. And it seems to be spinning or reacting more violently to the presence of the increased signals of waves, and it almost seems to be pulsating like some sort of radio signal or wave of energy. And he just says, "We must get to the master. We must get to the master back in the cube. We can't be down here. We'll come back when they're gone." And that's what he says. And his amulet is now glowing. It sort of stopped before when he got intimidated. But whatever's about to happen will probably happen his next turn. Gregor, what do you do?
Well, I mean, first of all, I am curious. Is this like increasing amount of energy?
Increasing amount of energy. What? I didn't hear the second part of that.
Oh, is it warm? Like, is it giving off heat?
Not particularly. You can just feel it's kind of arcane power. Like you can definitely tell it's very powerful magic.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm kind of aghast at like what's happening. Like clearly, these people are incredibly powerful, and they're serving some kind of that's conducting some very bizarre something or another here. Um, I've kind of like lost my mind for pilfering what I wanted out of this place, and I'm starting to get a little freaked out. But I do have a background in like eldritch magic and that kind of stuff. So, would I notice any kind of familiarity with anything that's happening so far?
Yeah, it seems like a teleportation spell into this cube. This cube seems to be some sort of dimension to you. I can tell you that much.
Would I intuit who inhabits that dimension?
Say what now?
Would I have any intuition about who's in that dimension or why they're in
No,
ours?
You picked up on them talking about a master, so this seems to be some sort of a. These two seem to be some sort of apprentice. Your exposure to magic, you kind of know that sometimes you have a head wizard, for example, and
Sure.
several apprentices. So these seem to be some apprentice of some master that is potentially up in the cube. And you gather, and what many of you gathered without an understanding of magic completely, is they're trying to teleport into that cube.
I mean, I'm impressed by the cube, and part of me thinks that there might be something valuable in it. So I'm a little tempted to step into the circle.
All right, you step in the circle.
And my selfishness overrides my rationality, and I step into the circle.
All right, you step in the circle. It responds to your presence, and the two mages tell you to get out.
And I say, there might be something more to. I don't. There might be something more to this. Are you sure you want me to leave?
No, it'll be alright. Alright. Do you do anything else? You have an action. You just use your movement to move into the circle. Do you still want to hold an action for something?
I think. Does like talking to them count as an action?
No, it's free.
Okay. I just want to say, like, maybe I can help you. Like, I'm willing to work for you.
The female tiefling looks you up and down and sort of says, "That is not for us to decide." And looks back up at the cube, and they're both now just kind of staring up.
He already has a contract.
I mean, I'm just saying, negotiations can happen. I'm not giving up on you guys. Don't get me wrong.
Playing both sides of the field, eh?
Look,
I'm just
'cause
saying that there might be money to be made. We could all think about partaking in a little column A, column B. I mean, Jace never said we shouldn't help these people. We don't know anything about them. I don't know. Maybe I'm not trying to metagame. I'm saying this aloud to my comrades.
Gotcha.
But no, I guess I hold my own. I take this. I take the cue of everyone else is feeling very surreptitious about these folks, so I don't push that any further.
Cool. Nash, what do you do?
Kind of reading the situation, I just sigh and lower my gun. I pick up Indy and say, "Can't run away from fate forever," and I'll step into the circle.
All right. There we go.
Fulfilling my ideal of change. Life is like the seasons in constant change, and we must change with it.
Do you do any action besides your movement? You or
Nope.
Indy? Okay. They both say "get out" to you when you enter. What do you do, Alex? What does 6 do?
I think 6 is. I'm going to go into the circle with my comrades, but not because I feel compelled by fate or destiny. I really just I want to do it because I can see how much it's upsetting the Dragonborns, and I feel really slighted by their reaction to my attempted intimidation. So I do it strictly out of spite.
Cool. So you step in. Do you do any action besides your movement as well?
No, I think I just do my action. Or just goof.
Okay. The female tiefling mage is looking very flustered at this point. All of you are now into the circle and kind of messing things up. And she looks at the male dragonborn mage and says, "Brother, I will go ahead and alert everyone. Do what you can." And you see her just disappear. She zoops up into the cube. Her body materializes into magic, and in a big spurt, she goes up into the cube. Trundle, it is your turn. All your buddies are in the circle.
Well, I jump for the Dragonborn, and he jumps into the Dragonborn in an attempt to grapple the dragon.
Nice. Are you trying to take his amulet, or are you trying to grapple him?
The amulet would be preferred. Yeah. But really kind of try to grapple him so he'd be easier for somebody else to take amulet. But
Okay. Go ahead and give me that grapple.
is that athletics or just
It
strength?
is, yeah. Strength.
I think it's athletics.
So athletics, yeah.
Okay.
Nice. And then he can resist it with athletics or acrobatics, whichever he prefers.
Yeah, you got him beat.
Fail.
You got him grappled?
All right. Wherever you go, I go.
It is his turn. He says, "You fools, all of you." And he starts to materialize into magic. As he's materializing, you materialize with him, Trundle. You start to turn into magic as well, and you both start shooting up into the cube. Nash, you and Indy start to materialize and shoot up into the cube. Gregor, you start to materialize and shoot up the cube. And Six, you start to materialize and shoot up in the cube. Each of you notice as you travel, and it's weird, you're looking up at the cube, and it almost seems like life pauses for a second. Everything is so still and so motionless. But then almost instantly, you feel your spirit almost like leave your body. But your whole body is just getting converted into magic. You tunnel vision on the cube. You black out for a second. You start to come to as you seem to almost smash into the walls of the cube. Now the cube itself seems to be made of this kind of obsidian material. And so as you're going towards it, you black out right before you almost sort of ram into the cube, almost like you're slamming your face into it. But you enter in as magic through one of the corners of the cube, and you enter into this area. I'll pull up the map. It is a very large map. You guys are going to, I'm showing you just the big map to kind of help paint the picture. I don't like to do the old peek behind the screen for DM, but I need y'all to visualize this. So zoom all the way out and you'll see it's a cube. Okay? And I'm going to do this for the stream too, so I can do a collect.
Are we in one?
You guys are, in one right now, but let me show the stream.
The magic was in us all along.
You got the touch. Okay.
The magic was the
So
friends
you
we
guys
made along the way.
rematerialize and slam into into one, which is that the top left on the map.
Ow.
You guys, and you kind of come to, and it is freaky as all get out, because you see everything is in a fourth dimension. So you look up. If you were to take that map and you were to fold it into a cube, you would be able to see the other sides from the inside. Correct? Like that's what you're seeing. You're able to see the different. Did Mumble just close on me? I think Mumble just closed on me. Hold on 1 second, Twitch. All right, folks. I just lost connection with my group here. I'm going to just get them in on Discord real quick. I think the server timed out, guys, but we were at the very end, so all you needed to hear is my description, and then I'm going to close out the stream.
Sounds cute.
I got PS Zombie and I got Leadbat. So, anyway, okay. And I got Climate Changer. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell y'all the description and then close out. I think the server just timed out on Mumble.
Does that mean the stream can't hear us?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's alright. I mean, you would have had to re-describe it at the top of the next episode anyways.
Right.
Just to catch. I love your one-shots, Craig.
Thanks. They are great when technology works. All right.
Pretty good for 90% of it, which is, that's good for us.
Yeah. Usually we have our issues. As soon as Alex gets in here, stream, we will give him the description as well and close out. We just need him to get in there, and while he's doing that, I'm going to change up the music to the Cube music.
The Cube. Have y'all ever seen Cube or Cube 2 Hypercube? Mm-hmm. Great films. If you like horror, but like trap horror, like Saw and stuff, very good. I don't think I can. He's reading the Dark Forest. They talk about a fourth dimension, up to 13 dimensions, and all that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, they describe it like you'd be able to see inside yourself. And then outside of you basically see everything at once, basically. I don't know.
So, to describe kind of what you're seeing, just so we can close out, is you see the different walls. So that where you landed at one is the one side of the cube. So if you look down, you can see that center cube. If you look across, you can see the next panel beyond that. You see the two walls to the side. You're inside of a cube. It's almost mind breaking for you to just see these different dimensions, because how is something up on the ceiling able to stay up there on the ceiling? It's freaky to you, and you realize that you are no longer in Piltover anymore. And that's where we will end our stream for tonight. I appreciate you finding us, everyone out there on Twitch, either now or after the fact. I apologize for this last minute snag here with our audio, but the Putu crew still got their description, and we were very close to closing out anyway, once they finally decided to hop in on the cube while the getting was good. So we will be back at it next week, 8 o'clock Central, here on the PU to ASU channel, with the climactic conclusion of Arcane League of Dungeons. And I want to thank the Putu crew, PS Zombie, Climate Changer, and Alex for being with us tonight, as well as our special guest for his first stream and his only second D&D game, Leadbet. So appreciate you being here as well. And please check out his channel, Game Observatory, on Twitter or YouTube. All right, folks, that's a wrap, and I hope everyone has a great Monday evening. Goodbye.